Thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. Our top story tonight, the latest on the Halloween night shooting that took place in the Vancouver Mall. Police arrested the shooter last night, 32-year-old Travis Ward, in a home in Vancouver. The Clark County Prosecuting Office told us Ward is expected to make his first court appearance tomorrow afternoon. Ward is accused of killing one person and hurting two other people when he allegedly opened fire during a trick-or-treating event in the Vancouver Mall Thursday night. He now faces charges of first-degree murder and first-degree assault. Well, tonight, hundreds of people gathered in the parking lot of the Vancouver Plaza in a show of community resilience. A pair of local moms rallied people to hold a trunk-or-treat do-over event. We spoke to one of the organizers who said after seeing the impact the shooting had on people, plus the weather on Halloween night, she took it upon herself to give families another chance to celebrate.
Popped off so fast. Everyone was immediately interested in it. We got so many cars willing to decorate their trunks. It went from 40 people interested to 800 people interested.
Now, we also spoke with some of the kids taking part in the festivities who clearly enjoyed having a second chance to get some of those Halloween treats.
I love Halloween and I'm so excited for this day. And we're gonna have a bunch of candy and we're gonna have a sugar rush from eating all of it. So there's more like prizes and stuff and squishies and more candy. And you don't have to feel so scared and cold.
I'm glad they got the do-over. And to help keep people safe tonight, Vancouver police said they were going to visit and pass out stickers and high fives. Well, new tonight, police in Cowlitz County are investigating a shooting that left one person in critical condition. The Longview Police Department said they have detained the suspect. Around 1:30 this morning, officers were called to a home near 11th Avenue in Michigan Street. There, they found the victim with multiple gunshot wounds. The suspect left the scene before officers arrived, but he was found and arrested around 30 minutes later. The investigation is ongoing. And law enforcement in Clark County are searching for this man, Maurice Haynes. It's after he was mistakenly released from jail nearly 1 week ago. The Clark County Jail said there was a mix-up in sending him back to jail after a court appearance, resulting in his release on Monday evening. Now, Haynes was sentenced on a charge of criminal mischief, and he wasn't supposed to be released until sometime next year. His last known address was at a home in Northeast Portland. Well, it's the final push toward Election Day as the presidential campaigns are on an all-out blitz in battleground states. NBC senior national correspondent Jay Gray is joining us with more from Bucks County in the swing state of Pennsylvania.
Hey there, good evening from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, the county seat of Bucks County. Again, one of those counties that, like so many across this state, are split purple between the Republicans and Democrats, and one that could ultimately decide this election. Polls showing that Pennsylvania is split right down the middle, and so that's why the candidates are focusing not only here but across many of the swing states in the last couple of days. But the rhetoric on the campaign trail is getting a bit personal in the final few days.
She will get completely overwhelmed, meltdown, and millions of people will die. No, we can't have this. It's not a charity event, running for president or being president. This is an election for the biggest and toughest job in the history of the world.
This is not someone who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is increasingly unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and the man is out for unchecked power. And in less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me in the Oval Office.
Again, over the last couple of days now, we will see these candidates really focusing on these swing states and trying to make their mark before folks go to the polls on Tuesday. In fact, on Monday, both candidates will spend significant time right here in Pennsylvania. That's the latest from Doylestown. I'm Jay Gray, NBC News.
And a reminder for Oregon voters, your ballot has got to be in a drop box by 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. If you send it by mail, it needs to be postmarked by that deadline. So if you're dropping it off at the last minute, you should find a drop box. And we will be here for you this Tuesday evening with election night coverage streaming for free on KGW Plus. Our anchors David Molko and Laurel Porter will be joined by political analysts to break down the results as we get them for all of the key races, both here locally and nationally. Our team of reporters will also be spread out across the region covering election night parties. Our coverage starts here at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. And remember, you can download the KGW Plus app on Roku, Apple TV, or Fire TV. Well, as we turn to weather now, we want to take a moment to appreciate some of those fabulous fall colors that can be seen across the state. One of our viewers sent us this drone footage as he went down the Tualatin River. And here's a live look now at downtown Portland as we take a peek from the bricks from our Pioneer Parks camera. We saw some mainly dry conditions today, but the start of the work week is going to be a little bit on the wet side. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is here with the timing of when that rain is going to get here. Joe?
Hey there, John. I love that one piece of video that showed the clouds reflecting from the river out there earlier today. Absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I love this time of year with all the colors popping. And speaking of the timing of the rain, right around the end of that morning commute is when we're going to be seeing. Basically between 8 and 10 is when we'll be seeing the heaviest amount of rain arrive in the metro area. From our Wells Fargo tower camera, temperature of 52 degrees. So as we bring in the futurecast, we'll start to see some light showers at times really after midnight, but they go from light to downright heavy at times by kind of in between 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And if you're going to be traveling over the mountain passes, you're going to be seeing some heavy downpours as well. Not so much snow throughout the northern part of the Oregon Cascades. A little bit more snow will pile up throughout the central Oregon Cascades near the Mount Jefferson Wilderness area and the Mount Bachelor. But you'll notice by tomorrow afternoon, we're pretty much done with the heavy amount of rainfall, and we'll transition to more of a mix of clouds and sunshine, maybe a few locations seeing mostly sunny skies. But as we look at the radar right now, we're not going to be picking up anything, but just give it a couple of hours and it's going to be absolutely wet. Not only is it going to be wet, it's going to be windy with gusts anywhere from 30, maybe 40 miles an hour in a few locations, especially along the coast, but even into the interior valley as well. I'll talk more about that in your detailed forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. Well, we're just hours away now from voting locations opening up throughout Western Washington as Boeing machinists consider the company's latest offer that includes a 38% increase in wages over the next 4 years. Brady Wakayama with our Seattle sister station went to the Boeing picket lines today to see how machinists are feeling about tomorrow's vote.
It's been more than 50 days since machinists at Boeing decided to go on strike. Although the picket lines were mostly empty on Sunday, Andre Johnstone is still here, outside of the Renton factory.
Our union motto is "We cower to no one," and I'm living by that.
Machinists we spoke with are anxious for the vote on Monday, with a new offer on the table that involves a 38% wage increase over 4 years. That's 3% higher than the last offer. And a $12,000 ratification bonus is also being proposed. The deal does fall short of the 40% wage increase the union originally asked for, and it doesn't include restoring pensions.
We've been asking for the pension for months and years. We don't feel like they're addressing that part of the union whatsoever.
The union representing the machinists posted on its Facebook page on Saturday, encouraging members to vote yes, saying in part, the decision to end this strike is right where it needs to be, in the membership's hands. Your entire bargaining committee believes it is time to settle this strike and move forward. It's unclear how the vote will go, but what is clear is Johnstone wants the leaders of the union to do more.
I feel like the rank and file people in the union are doing their utmost, yes, but our leadership and bargaining committee have not done enough.
The 6 voting locations in Western Washington will be open throughout the day Monday until 7 p.m., with 4 of the sites opening as early as 7 a.m.
My message to Boeing is trust the workers. We want the best for this company.
Reporting for King 5 News, I'm Brady Wakayama.
Well, developing tonight, there was a protest outside the East Portland Post Office to speak out against a tentative agreement on a new union contract between USPS and the National Association of Letter Carriers. Dozens of mail carriers from the Portland branch rallied today, calling the settlement essentially a pay cut that doesn't keep up with inflation, among other issues. Mail carriers have been working without a contract for more than a year now. Voting will take place throughout November. Well, a family-owned restaurant in the Portland metro is closing its doors tonight. Bugatti's Italian restaurant in West Lynn announced it is shutting down after a 30-year run. In a social media post, the owner cited rising costs that have become just too difficult to keep up with. They do say the Oregon City location is at no risk of closing down.
I don't think there's anyone living or past who has had a bigger impact on conservation issues than Bob Salinger has.
Last week, Bob Salinger, a well-known conservationist here in Oregon, passed away at the age of 57. His death now leaving a gaping hole in conservation and environmental groups. Today, our Celine Stevens spoke with those who knew Salinger to learn more about his life.
We were incredibly tight, and I'm devastated.
It's a huge loss, a huge loss.
Friends and colleagues of Bob Salinger are heartbroken after learning the news of his unexpected death last week.
It was jaw-dropping and shocking and heart-stopping for me.
Salinger was a well-known figure in the environmental community.
There's no one who's done more for the environment in Oregon than Bob Salinger.
At the time of his death, he was the director of two nonprofits, one being Bird Conservation Oregon, which he founded, and the Willamette Riverkeeper. He also used to be conservation director at Audubon Society of Portland, now known as the Bird Alliance of Oregon. He played a role in creating urban green spaces around the city for people to enjoy.
He was very instrumental in getting a bond measure passed that ended up acquiring a lot of green spaces in the Portland metro area and developing, greater protection for those green spaces. So if you live in Portland, if you enjoy parks, if you enjoy green spaces, you owe a debt of gratitude to Bob Salinger.
His love and dedication for the environment and wildlife was evident, which is why friends of his like Mike Hauk tell me they loved him.
The guy was unbelievably dedicated. The peregrine falcons fell into a hole in the industrial district one day, and he actually literally crawled down into what really was a latrine, a human latrine, to bring that young falcon back out, to take it back to the Wildlife Care Center. How could you not love a guy like that?
Others, like John DeVoe, had a more professional relationship with Salinger, but still, DeVoe describes him as a hero in the state's conservation movement.
Any negotiation where Bob showed up, you knew that for fish and wildlife, for birds, for conservation, there were going to be good results.
We're standing here at South Waterfront. This is a tangible example of his legacy. You see all the vegetation along the Willamette River. None of this would be here if it weren't for Bob's efforts.
He's going to be a very difficult leader to try to come up behind and fill his shoes. I don't think anybody's going to be able to fill Bob's shoes.
Salinger was 57 years old and is survived by his wife and 3 children. Those who knew Salinger say they just want him to know they are grateful and he's missed.
Thank you. And you left us too soon.
You have amazing respect from across the spectrum, and we all love you and miss you terribly.
In Portland, Celine Stevens, KGW News.